Hello and welcome. Tonight we talk about the importance of fellowship after quitting drinking alcohol and doing drugs. Soberdelic James Addiction Recovery live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's do this. My name is James. I'm a grateful recovering addict and alcoholic. As you may or may not know, addiction is hard. Life is hard. And, well, I just got back from a fellowship called Alcoholics Anonymous. It was my home group. And in there, for the past 13 years, I have made lifelong friends, almost like family. With them, I confide. With them, I discuss everything. Sometimes we talk about drinking and quitting drinking, but a lot of times we talk about life. Believe it or not, there's a lot of laughter in the rooms of recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, 12-step programs. There's also favor, faces and voices of recovery, Celebrate Recovery, Smart Recovery, and the 12-step programs range from everything from Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous. They even have Nicotine Anonymous, and all of that. Speaking of fellows and fellowship, welcome Mike Tucker. How's it going? You've really noticed your age this year. You'll have to excuse me, my fellows. I shall be right back. What's up, Joe Shaves? But we do need help, and I'll be right back. In the fellowship lies strength. There's a saying in Alcoholics Anonymous, stay close to the inside of the herd. There's wolves out there. Don't get it twisted. We are powerless over our addiction. We are powerless over the obsession that is addiction. We are powerless over using drugs like alcohol or your drug of choice. Nobody wants to relinquish this power, and that's why Alcoholics Anonymous was founded in 1939 or thereabouts. Bill W., Dr. Bob, Ebby, they got together and they realized that one alcoholic talking to another has the power to relieve the obsession in the alcoholic. This is very, very important. Joe Shaves, Mike Tucker, good to see y'all. Thanks for saying that, Joe, and I am happy as a clam to be able to do this. I am fortunate and grateful. I will tell you about my fellowship experience. This meeting happened to be it was from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Good evening, Gail. It's good to see you. Good to be seen. The 12 Steps and the 12 Traditions is AA-approved literature. Don't forget to read. Our minds are a bad neighborhood to hang out in, and we need input. This is one of the reasons fellowship is so important, or we just circle around in our mind. I don't know about you guys, but I isolated in the last stage of my alcoholism and drug abuse. Isolated by myself and my drug. This is a control thing, but that's another topic for another stream. Let's discuss the fellowship. When people get together, there's a power there. I personally discovered God of my understanding in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. There is a gathering of people that have a common enemy, a common problem, and problems in life of recovery and thereafter. But the topic this evening in the meeting was, we have alcoholics, and I'm just going to include addicts as well. The disease is the same to each different substance. To each different drug of choice, there is uniqueness, but there's also similarities. But we have a distinct inability to form lasting relationships. We don't connect with people. In the discussion, there was different sentiments. One of which was because it was control, because of our obsession with control. We have a problem, and it's a disease of self-centeredness, egocentric. Our egos are out of control as well. The fellowship has saved my life. Without the fellowship of AA, I would be dead. I've been saved multiple times by individuals, but the group in general, and having friends, even outside of the rooms, speaks volumes. It is indispensable, priceless. It's part of the program. The 12 steps, the fellowship, the book. It's all part of the program. And half measures avail you nothing, so you have to dive in deep. Let me pull up this article while some more people join us. The importance of fellowship in recovery. What is fellowship? A fellowship can be any type of support group that you join in recovery. You probably heard some of the more well-known organizations like Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Smart Recovery, Lakeside-Milam, and so on. Everyone in these groups has the same goal: life without addiction. By attending meetings and building relationships with other members, you grow together in sobriety. Breaking through isolation is an important part of all of this. While drugs and alcohol can and may initially propel their users into becoming social butterflies, it's rare that they stay that way. The progressive disease of addiction eventually pushes its sufferers into increasing levels of isolation. Relationships with friends, family, and co-workers become strained as substance use takes over. Old hobbies or interests are second to using, and it's difficult to connect with others. For this reason, it's commonly said that addiction is the loneliest disease. This is why it's imperative to revisit your relationships in recovery. As you make amends and remove toxic people from your life, there will probably be gaps that need to be filled with new acquaintances. Loneliness and isolation are two of the biggest risk factors for relapse. It's important to surround yourself with people who understand the reality of addiction and can support you throughout the recovery process. Personally, I was alone in my addiction. Nobody drank like I did, so I stopped hanging out with them. It happened around 27, 28. After the Navy, everybody was growing up. Those who aren't alcoholics really didn't drink recreationally anymore, or at least to the extent I did. So I found I purposely isolated and just drank alone. If you can relate, holler at me. Good evening, Shades. Mike Tucker, what makes me not go to AA is I don't want to spend the rest of my life talking and thinking about alcohol. What makes you not go to AA is your addiction. Your addiction is terrified of AA. AA means the end of it, and it no longer has any pull and no longer controls your ego and controls you. The reason you're not going to AA is because of fear. Stop me if I'm wrong. What up, Kat? What up, Hillary Mae? Miss Holly Ford? How goes it? And I've said many times, we rarely talk about alcohol in Alcoholics Anonymous. Everything revolves around getting to cause and conditions. That's what the 12 steps is about. I've said it many times before, but the word alcohol is only in the first half of the first step of the 12 steps. So your reason, Mike, for not going to AA because you don't want to talk about alcohol for the rest of your life is invalid. Also, there is one thing that will keep a person from succeeding in recovery, and that is contempt prior to investigation, aka ignorance. So I'll just ask you a simple question. When was the last AA meeting you went to see if they're talking about alcohol? And you may think I'm being rough with you, but I'm telling you straight up. Meeting makers make it. Fellowship is important. It's part of recovery. If you guys are interested, there's a documentary on YouTube, Bill Wilson is one of the co-founders of AA. He is the man. I've done videos on whether or not he did acid, and he did. This was back when it had medical value and before the government demonized it. It does have medical value. But Bill Wilson, if you're really interested in AA isn't the only path, but I've been to Smart Recovery, and you can't outsmart addiction. In fact, that's actually anti-productive. It is because it's a spiritual malady, Mike. I often put it like this: if I'm drowning in the ocean and there was 4 life rafts thrown to me, one says favor, one says Smart Recovery, one says Celebrate Recovery, and one says Alcoholics Anonymous. This is a life or death situation. I'm going to grab the Alcoholics Anonymous life raft. And why not AA? You can try Smart Recovery. You can try you can try anything you want. But let me tell you, I didn't listen. And I've been at this for 20 years. Thank God I stayed until the miracle happened. But Mike, I'm not saying AA is the only. I actually am saying AA is the only way. You can take that as my opinion. But of course, it's not the only way. However, for almost a century, since Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob came together in 1939, Alcoholics Anonymous has been blessing people. I understand your resistance to it. That's nothing but your addiction talking its way out of the rooms of AA. Trust me. Your addiction fears AA. AA is an addiction killer. But you can do whatever you want. I've been to Smart Recovery, one of my, good friends for a while. He's no longer a friend. Was the instructor at Smart Recovery. Smart Recovery, Faber, these are things that you supplement AA with if you want to educate yourself, but you're not going to treat addiction with intelligence. I'm saying this because I've tried, and the people who have come before me, my sponsors, have tried. You can be too smart for recovery. Your addiction's manifesting in your life right now with your refusal and denial to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Unfortunately, it takes what it takes for us to do what it takes, to do whatever it takes. Your addiction takes what it takes. Sometimes it takes people's lives. I'm about to bury my sister. I'm about to spread my sister's ashes these coming weeks because she overdosed last week on heroin. She knew that Narcotics Anonymous and AA was the way. Her addiction talked her out of it. My addiction has talked me out of the rooms many times. You've watched me for 5 years now. And in the beginning, I was going to AA. I made this channel. This channel exists because of AA. Thank you, Bozo Mori, Joe Shaves. And sobriety is different than abstinence, Mike. Sobriety is something I experienced in the beginning of my 8 years when I was going to Alcoholics Anonymous. This is a spiritual malady, and Alcoholics Anonymous is the medicine. This is a disease. Addiction is a disease. Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12 steps, is a medicine. I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't believe it with everything I have. I've talked this way even when I wasn't in the rooms. I was like, I should be going to AA. Meeting makers make it. But just like AA, I won't tell you what to do. You can do whatever. Have you been doing Smart Recovery, Mike? Try it. This channel won't keep you sober. I won't keep you sober. AA won't keep you sober. But you can sober up by practicing the spiritual principles of Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah, Mike, I can't take your inventory, but I am not good when I'm not going to AA. I was not participating in the fellowship. Alcoholism there's many alcoholics in recovery that say they didn't know what alcoholism was until they quit drinking. Meaning the drinking is a symptom of alcoholism. It's a symptom. So it's like if you have AIDS and you treat the cough that you have, you still got AIDS. And you have to treat it. That might be a bad example, but the fellowship is what we're talking about right now. The fellowship is part of the program. One alcoholic talking to another is only part of how it works. I could read you the book. I will suggest that you read the book yourself. But the fellowship is extremely important. A fellow alcoholic next to me in the meeting said he comes here he comes to the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous and he hears different things, and this is how the power of fellowship works. His head, kind of like your head right now, Mike, tells him things that are false. I'm doing okay as long as I'm not drinking. If you're an alcoholic, that is false. If you didn't drink today, that's great. I mean, that's great. But I will tell you from experience that doesn't do it. You'll be miserable, restless, irritable, discontent, lonely, angry, tired, exhausted. Sobriety fatigue kicks in. You'll drink again. I wouldn't be telling you this if it weren't true. I probably told this before, but the short story is there's a story in the book about a businessman who quit drinking, said he was going to take drinking back up when he retires. He had a successful career, and when he retired, he started drinking. And he was in the hospital within months and died. It's a progressive illness. I could talk your ear off, Mike, but the bottom line is take your ass to AA. Run, don't walk. That's really all I can say about that. But you're going to think what you think, just like I thought what I thought. And just like every alcoholic, your disease, my way of looking at it is your disease is terrified of Alcoholics Anonymous because it knows the deal. Alcoholics Anonymous is its arch nemesis. It will cease to exist if you treat yourself with alcoholics and with AA. The disease cannot be cured. However, it can be treated, put into remission. I chose AA. That's my medicine. Watching goofy looking James here is therapeutic too. My channel is therapy. Yeah, so there's 12 steps. The 12th step is carry the message to other alcoholics. To help. That's after you've had a spiritual awakening. This is my third go round of the steps because I was resistant. That's why I recognize your resistance, Mike, and I can see resistance in people that come in and out of the rooms. Some of them never come back. A dry drunk can be described as a person who refrains from alcohol or drugs but still has the unresolved emotional and psychological issues which might have fueled the addiction to begin with. Character defects. Steps 6 and 7. Steps 4 through 7. Jotting down a fearless and thorough moral inventory, your character defects, your fears. being willing to get rid of them, give them to God. This is steps 4 through 7. What causes those? These are the causes and conditions. So in the fellowship, you can't lie to yourself. You go to AA and it will ruin your drinking. And anybody that, I mean, really, you can't talk shit about AA unless you've been. But your addiction has beaten you into submission to where it's got you by the balls, and it's not going anywhere near AA, and you're not either because it's got you by the balls. Kat, in my experience, the healing is progressive, just like alcoholism is progressive. True, I agree with this. Even if I fall, I keep returning to what I know. Source compassion, I do need to pick up the fellowship piece again. See, when you say something like that, listen to yourself, because you do need to pick up the fellowship. I don't know if you're going or not, but when you say something like that, you're literally telling yourself, and your addiction will use denial mechanisms and everything it has to keep you away from it. The fellowship, friends with a common enemy, friends in recovery, it's a family. It's the most beautiful thing I have ever witnessed. And it's been going on for 100 years. Yeah, I heard an alcoholic say one time, Mike, he was afraid someone might see you there. I know well, of course you're afraid. Your addiction is afraid, and it's telling you these things. I've seen people from high school at meetings, and I mean, have you ever thought about you're also seeing them, Mike? And that's where anonymity comes in as well. Do I look like I'm afraid to be an alcoholic? Being an alcoholic, because it introduced me to God, I'm grateful that I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic. The fellowship and the program of AA is so beautiful and so almost divine that I've never experienced anything like it. It's brought me peace, happiness, and joy. And if I stop going, that disappears. That's right. Well, that's why they call it Alcoholics Anonymous, Mike. You don't have to do anything. But if you want to be happy, joyous, and free instead of restless, irritable, and discontent, run, don't walk to Alcoholics Anonymous. And if you don't want to ever drink again, and I know you're all about not drinking, man. 4-5 years is awesome. I know. I mean, you're doing awesome. I'm scared for you. I've been in that position. You've seen me in that position. You've seen me like, I should be at an AA meeting, but I don't really go anymore. It's cunning, baffling, and powerful. Mike, you've never been to an AA meeting. What do you know? Nothing. Your addiction is telling you you know something. Am I wrong? Do you go to AA meetings? That's contempt prior to investigation. That is ignorance, the definition of. And it's extremely dangerous. Read the book if you don't want to go. Read the book. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not going to. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You better. But whatever. Go do smart. You know what I mean? Go outsmart your addiction. It says right in the big book, if you're able to do that, our hats are off to you. Read some of the stories. There's people that sound just like you, Mike. There's people that sound just like me when I was in denial and fearful. If you're tired of being afraid, if you're tired of being fucking pissed off all the time, which I know you are, pissed off all the time, then go to AA. If not, continue to live. Do what you want. To say I don't care would be a lie, but and hey, Misty Jo May. Today I'm 99 days sober. Good for you, Misty. Welcome. I live stream every night here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come back if you want. And we like sobriety around here. How do you do that? How did you get 99 days? We're talking about the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, or fellowship in general. Well, the Fellowship of Recovery is important because you need that common thread. You need that to confide in. No one gets alcoholism except for other alcoholics. There's people that understand it and try to wrap their heads around it. But when you sit down with another alcoholic and they tell you they've been exactly where you are and they tell you your story, there's something that happens. This isn't me talking. I didn't invent the program. Everything I know comes from AA. And I personally think it was divine intervention on mankind itself. But Bill Wilson is the most important person of the 20th century, in my opinion, and the opinion of many, including Time Magazine. He was in the 100 most important people of the 20th century. But I think he is the most important person of the 20th century. Misty goes to AA at least 3 times a week. Good for you, Misty. What do you think of fellowship and how does it help you? These are people that would not ordinarily mix that are in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. AA is anonymous. I can say that I was there, but I can't say that you were there. That's how that works. It's in the principles and traditions. So Mike doesn't have to. Mike, if you go, you don't have to say you ever go to AA. I cannot stop suggesting it to alcoholics because I too would be fucked without AA, honestly. It's a blessing. It is really a blessing. I have nowhere else to go on this earth, and AA is just all around for free, and all they want to do is help you be happy and never drink again, never have to live that way again. But yeah, AA is anonymous. It stands for Alcoholics Anonymous. But that just means I can choose to say that I go. I can't say that, Joe Schmo was there. I mean, I can, but it's the tradition not to. It's how we preserve the solidarity of the program. The shit is ill. I mean, it's the illest, most spiritually divine thing I've ever witnessed, and I continue to witness it every day, including today. It continues to blow my mind. I don't know what else to say except, Mike, run, don't walk to AA. And, in 5 years when you, whatever, whatever, you heard me. That's all I have to say. There's different modalities of sobriety, but they're all wannabes of AA. If you go to rehab, you'll pay 30 to 50 grand for a big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I've been to 3 of them. All they do is take you to AA and NA. That's all they do, and they make money. Because it works. What up, Kopic? Yeah, I was in a Zoom AA meeting once, and I was drinking vodka out of a coffee mug. So there's that to be said about AA Zoom meetings. It's AA light. That's like AA light. And, I mean, your ideas are great, Mike, smart recovery and everything, but just remember, your ideas had you sleeping in a bush. Drunk and sleeping in a bush. You have to open your mind to powers greater than you. You're powerless over this thing, I'm telling you. It's working on you right now. And you don't know it. I'm telling you, but you don't listen to me. Your shit's got blinders on it. And that's not your fault. It's just the way it'll take what it takes. But the fellowship is very important. RJ, Tori. What up, RJ? For RJ and Misty, I stream every day at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, addiction recovery and everything in between. Subscribe and hit the bell, and even join the membership if you'd like. We have a lot of fun here talking about all kinds of stuff. Tonight we're talking about fellowship. This is fellowship. I've gotten together with some of y'all. We talk. This is almost like an AA meeting. Almost. I don't have the power that AA collectively does, and I don't try to either. It's sacred. It's sacred, and it speaks for itself. And if you're not interested, you're not interested. But I don't know. I'll never stop talking about it. And YouTube loves you, Misty. Let's read more about fellowship from... I put the link to this article down in the description. Let others help you. This is from Lakeside-Milam.com. Link is in the description. Join a group. If you're new to the fellowship, you're in a perfect position to open up about your experience and receive support in return. Don't worry about keeping score or trying to pay others back for their kindness. That will come with time. The 12-step, carrying it to other alcoholics. Your job now is to stay sober and keep attending these meetings. As you work the steps, you'll acclimate and begin to give back to others and even support more newcomers yourself. At first, the outpouring of support in early sobriety and recovery may feel overwhelming. You may even feel guilty that so many people are going out of their way to help you. This is completely normal. As time passes, you'll grow to understand that service to others in the group strengthens their sobriety. Helping me helps my sponsor. Helping you guys helps me. This is what Bill and Dr. Bob discovered in 1930s. Look up Bill W.'s I posted on the community tab Bill W.'s documentary on YouTube. It's totally free to watch. There is absolutely no reason that you don't watch it. Your addiction, your disease of the mind called addiction, will convince you in your own voice that you don't have time to watch it. You don't care about AA. You've been sober 5 years. Sober 5 years. You've been dry 5 years, buddy. Benefits of fellowship in early recovery. Support. One of the key features of fellowship is emotional support. Early recovery is a turbulent time for everyone. It can feel like your life has completely changed overnight. To put it simply, sobriety is a lifestyle change. You'll experience a wide array of new feelings and will have to navigate complex social situations to maintain your recovery. When you feel yourself weakening, you'll have a whole group of people to lean on. They'll be there for you in times of stress and success. Insight. By making friends and connecting with others, you'll be able to turn to them for guidance and feedback. They'll hear your stories and concerns and will be able to provide insight and patterns that you can't see in yourself, like I'm doing with you, Mike. It's a life or death thing. It's too important to bullshit. They may also have experienced similar challenges and could have valuable advice for your situation. This close-knit environment combined with open communication can help you to catch relapses before they happen. Who needs fellowship and sobriety? The answer to this simple question is this: everyone. Regardless of how much time you have, you can benefit from joining one of the above groups. Fellowships and sobriety are comprised of people just like you who are recovering from drug or alcohol addiction. Choosing to associate with others with your same value can be one of the most rewarding choices you'll make in recovery. By surrounding yourself with sober friends and neighbors, you'll keep prioritizing your sobriety and working on it every day. You'll also avoid falling into old traps, including reacting to triggers or spending time with old using friends. And that's that article. Like I said, it's down in the description. Yeah. I wouldn't be here without it. I wouldn't be here without the fellowship of AA. Point blank. Everybody's different, and it took me 20 years to get to the peace and serenity that I feel today. It's a high that beats all other highs put together. So I can vouch for it. And people notice it on me. When I go to meetings, they saw me crawl in sandals, sweatpants, no job, no license. And now they see me as I stand today, an example for other newcomers that are just coming in. I love AA now. I mean, I want to go to meetings. I do go to meetings as much as possible. I love it. They're awesome. Where else are people honest? Where else do people talk about anything but fucking politics and the weather and who knows what? It's real talk in there. I'm so glad I have AA. So glad. I mean, I'm so grateful. I am just overwhelming with gratitude, for real. It just doesn't get any better. It does not get any better than what the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous is. And if you haven't seen that Bill W. documentary, go to the community tab on my channel. I posted the link to it. I was up till 2 a.m, watching it because I couldn't stop watching it. It is just awe-inspiring. I feel like I'm, I feel like I'm a part of history. I feel like I belong. It's just a joy. It's joy. James, who wants to share, talk about how you found your sponsor. Yes, Kat. I've had 5 sponsors. I've also relapsed countless times. This time every time seemed like enough. This time I was only out for 5.5 months. I was only drinking for 5.5 months after 8 years of sobriety. 7.5, 8 years of sobriety. I picked up booze again because I stopped going to meetings. I stopped practicing the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous. Cunning, baffling, and powerful. It snuck its way in. It'll wait. While you're not drinking, it's out in the parking lot doing push-ups. Your addiction. Your addiction is out in the parking lot doing push-ups. Your push-ups come in the way of practicing the principles of AA. So if you're not doing that, for 8 years, my shit was out in the parking lot doing push-ups, and it whooped my ass. You can ask Hillary, you can ask Holly, you can ask my dad, my sister, or at least one of my sisters. One just got taken by addiction, and that's how serious it is. I'm not touting AA because it's who I am now or anything like that. I'm not touting it because I identify with it or I'm proud of it because I invented it and it's my club and it's my fucking, boys club. I'm literally in awe by it, and I would love to have the honor and the privilege to serve it, pay it back what it has given me by spreading its message. And this is why in the principles they say we're a program of attraction, not promotion, which I don't always abide by, but AA also says we are not saints. Our character defects are prevalent, and our character assets, personalities, override principles when we let them. So I'm not ashamed of my character defects. But, you're not, that's why you don't see Alcoholics Anonymous commercials. But let me tell you how I found my sponsor. So when I first came into the rooms 20 years ago, I, just like every alcoholic in the beginning, thinks they know what's best for themselves. So I picked the coolest sponsor I could find. Black dude. I thought I knew what was best. He tells me today that when he met me, I told him how I was going to work the program. That's not how sponsorship works. You surrender your thoughts and ideas because they didn't work for you to the suggestions of your sponsor. That was my first sponsor. My second sponsor, it was the same thing. I was picking these sponsors because my picker's broken. I never was able to pick the right anything. Job, romantic partner, or even a sponsor, because I thought I knew best. In the 12 steps, you give your will and your thinking over to the care of God as you know it, because that is who knows best. You don't know shit. James, you don't know shit. My best thinking got me jails, institutions, and death. So, my third sponsor, not much different. I'm picking all these people. My fourth sponsor, same thing. I made it almost 8 years before drinking in May of 2023 because I stopped going to meetings. Almost died this time, like pretty much just was the Walking Dead. And after detoxing this time, I surrendered completely to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, including the God thing. I said, I have to find God. What do I do? The first step is your life has become unmanageable. You're powerless over alcohol. That I knew. I have done the first step. I knew that 100%. I'm powerless over alcohol. I've proven it to me by trying every different way, and my life has become unmanageable. My first step is done. The second step, come to believe in a power greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity. AA, I have always known, is a power greater than me. It's very evident. It's been getting alcoholics happy, joyous, and free and sober from alcohol, but just happy, joyous, and free for 100 years. My second step's done. I mean, I just know. I know without a doubt AA is a power greater than I am. The third step is where I got stuck. Became willing to hand my will and life over to the care of God as I understand Him. So I needed a sponsor. So I had taken my experience with my previous sponsors and said, what did I do wrong? In the 2 decades that I've been coming to AA, one thing rang out in my mind: your picker is broken. You were picking sponsors due to your ego, due to what you thought. What I think is wrong. That was the best thing that has ever happened to me, is my thoughts are wrong. My will is wrong. It's not my opinion, it is a fact. Everything that not everything. I happen to have made some good choices, but I'm human and I'm also an alcoholic. So my ego was doing the fucking driving. So my picker was broken. So what I did is I went to the power greater than myself is AA. What I did this time, and I'm so glad you asked, is I went to a group of alcoholics known as an AA meeting. And before the chairman speaks what topic they want to talk about, they say, unless anyone has something that is affecting their sobriety today that they would like to talk about. And I said, my name's James, I'm an alcoholic. I've had sponsors before and I've had multiple relapses. How can I pick a sponsor when my thoughts and my will is wrong and my picker is broken? And this is a room full of alcoholics, some of them a year sober, some of them 20 years sober. Together there was hundreds of years of sobriety, by the 30 of them. And one by one, they said, my name's so-and-so, I'm an alcoholic, here's what you do. The first thing I remember them saying is, you're not gonna marry your sponsor, don't overthink it. Another guy said, get yourself an old guy with a lot of sobriety. Another person said, Find someone who has what you want and ask them how they got it. I want long-term sobriety. I want relative success and happiness, joyous freedom. There was, and then, you know, the whole meeting, it was an hour of people just telling their experience with sponsors. One of which said, and he didn't know I was from Schenectady, New York, but one person, total stranger, said one of my sponsors was a guy from Schenectady, New York, and he told me the story, and that was like a sign from God for me. So after that meeting, I had my answer, because the power greater than myself, the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, has guided me, literally. So the second step, I came to believe that this group was a power greater than myself, so I confided in them. And here's what you have to do. You have to listen. That's where willingness comes in. You have to listen, and you have to do it. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willing. Mike Tucker, you don't have the open-mindedness down yet, or the willingness. You're pretty honest with yourself. You don't want to sleep in bushes drunk anymore, so you gave up the booze. It's awesome. Become open-minded. You know how I became open-minded? I realized my ideas were getting me shit for 40 years. I had enough of my ideas. It's not defeat. It's the purest form of victory. It's the purest, most courageous fucking thing that you can do, is just like fucking let go of your ego. So after that meeting, I went to a guy that I have seen in the rooms for fucking 13 years. And the reason I picked him is because he has lasted, he's always been consistent, and he's been sober for that long or more. And he always has these awesome things to say. He was also an agnostic before he came into the rooms. Bill W. was an agnostic. Also, I didn't think he liked me. Quote, liked me. I caught a look every once, because I didn't, just goes to show what I thought I knew. He later said, why'd you think that? Like, what made you think that? And I said, the same thing that makes me think every other crazy idea. So I was wrong. Just like you're wrong if you say things about AA, that you don't know. You don't even go to AA. How would you know these things? It's your addiction talking. So I picked him, and this was the man that said, apparently this is what he said. Well, I'll tell you how I now believe and have a God of my understanding that has just fucking delivered me. We were in his car discussing whether or not he was going to be my sponsor. And I said, I'm having trouble with the God thing. 20 years ago in Fort Lauderdale, I heard a speaker speak. He said, you can't do this thing without God. And I've been agnostic most of my life. I did the 8 years dry off of booze on the first step and the first step alone. I know I'm powerless over alcohol. If I drink, I'm in trouble. Period. End of story. Mike, you know that. But I did that. It lasted 8 years. But I was miserable most of those. Anyway, and this is how God works, from what I can tell. He said, have you ever asked for the willingness to pray? Or have you ever prayed for the willingness to believe? And I said, no. And he said, well, why don't you go home and do that? And yeah, I'll be your sponsor. And as long as you're willing to pray for the willingness to believe, we can move on to step 4. You don't have to have a flash of white light or anything. It's an ongoing practice, these principles of AA. And that's how I discovered my sponsor, who we just worked the 6th and 7th step. Which everyone's got their own opinions about the steps and which ones they're afraid of. For me, the 9th step was always the step that I knew about. Even before I went into AA, I knew there was a step called making amends to those we have harmed, and I knew I was afraid of that step for some reason. Everyone's got different personalities. A lot of people are scared of the 4th step, a searching and fearless, honest moral inventory of yourself. And the 5th step is you admit to God, yourself, and another human being the exact nature of your wrongs. That means you clean house down to the fucking skeleton that you've never told anyone. A guy in the meeting today said his sponsor, he wrote all his fucking character defects and all his skeletons down. He gave it to his sponsor for the 5th step. The sponsor set it down on the table and said, all right, now tell me what you didn't write on the list. And this guy said, how the hell did he know that I was withholding something? It's because that guy's sponsor said that to him. And that's how it works. So that's how I found my sponsor. I picked the guy that I thought didn't like me, that had the program that I wanted. You look for someone, women get women as a sponsor, men get men as a sponsor. If you're gay, I'm not sure how that works. I think it might be able to go either way. I think you either get a heterosexual same-sex partner or a different sex. Not sure. You'll have to ask the room that. The best thing that ever happened to me was realizing that my ideas haven't worked for 40 years and I'm not using them anymore. I now, and Hillary, you might be happy to hear this, it says right in the book, more will be revealed before you're halfway done. More will continue to be revealed. It is now revealed to me that I can keep my autonomy, myself, my personality. My thinking does have its purpose. In fact, my ego has its perfect purpose. The problem with the ego in the alcoholic is that it's not right-sized. It's either lifting you up above everyone or pounding you into the ground below everyone. It's no in between. When you're right-sized, you're equal. You don't have to be above or below. Your ego itself will run riot. So you need a sponsor. What is going on in the comments? Yeah, don't believe your thoughts. They do serve purpose, but get healthy. Learn the spiritual principles of AA. It's a very simple gift. All you have to do is take it. Your disease of addiction is going to fight it the entire way. That's where fellowship comes in. Your fellows will call you out. Your fellows will help you. They'll catch you when you fall. They'll lift you up when you succeed. Fellowship is part of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not the whole part. I've gone to meetings just to go to meetings and think that it's some sort of car wash. I'll come out the other side sober. You have to work the steps. You have to read the book. You have to practice these principles in all of your affairs. And it's not a chore. It's literally just following instructions. This is what I've realized. Everyone's scared to work the steps, and people that even haven't even been to AA before have a shit ton to say about it and why they're not going. How the hell do you know whether you should go or not if you've never been to a meeting? Everything that you want in life is on the other side of your fears. Everything that you want in your life is on the outside of your comfort zone. AA meetings weren't my comfort zone. I knew I had to go, so I trudged through. I'm now one of the 15 to 20% of addicts that have recovered, are recovering enough, and are spiritually sound. And you know, I'm no saint, and I'm not ever going to be a saint or ever going to be perfect. Bill W. wasn't a saint. None of us are saints. We're all human. But as long as we practice these principles in all of our affairs and make progress and not perfection, then you get to be happy, joyous, and free. And that has always been my goal. In grade school, if someone asked me, if you had a genie, what would you ask for? My answer was happiness. And I'm happy. I was just stuck in traffic, and it was like kind of raining, and it was dusk, and I was at an intersection, and I was happy. And this was an hour and 15 minutes ago. Coming back from my meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, I was in traffic, and I was happy. When was the last time you were happy in traffic? You're just happy, joyous, and free. And this, I mean, and restlessness, irritability, and discontent is the baseline of the addict, an alcoholic. If you're not drinking, we drink to escape the restlessness and irritability and discontentment. That's why we use drugs. Our baseline is uncomfortable. When we take a drink, all of a sudden we feel like we're part of the human race. We're part of life. It's the same thing that happens when you practice the principles of AA. I feel like I'm part of life. I've been outside looking in my entire life. I felt like I've been outside looking in. Oh, thank you, Kat. That's the best. That's the best. Is when you help another person out of what you yourself have experienced. Later, Joe Shaves. Hey, Joe Shaves. My email, I'm going to put it right here, on here. Email me, give me your address. I'm going to mail you a big book. Not because I want to shove it down your throat, but because I think every alcoholic should have one. Let me get it up here. It's thesoberjames, all one word, @gmail.com. I'll just put it up here. Joe Shaves, you email me your address and I'll mail you a big book. And not like a Jehovah's Witness or a Bible thumper. It's because I think every alcoholic should have one. And once I start getting the financial means, I'll send everybody big books. But I'm sure I got an extra one hanging around here. Holly, I think I sent you one time. Spidey, where you at, Spidey? So don't get it twisted. This thing is for real. AA's so good, man. Adam, it is. It's a gift. It's a gift, and if you ever get the chance, look up that Bill W. I'll put that link in the description for that Bill W. documentary if you guys want to open it up in a browser, watch it later or whatever. But that shit is ill, and by ill I mean dope. By dope, I mean brolic. By brolic, I mean fat. P-H-A-T. It's tight. This documentary is tight. Tight. Tight like a tiger. Let me see here. Yeah, it's the Bill W. documentary. This shit is ill. I mean, let me speak English. It's awe-inspiring, factual, inspirational, heart-touching. There's a bunch of different Bill W. YouTube TV or movies. You can rent one too. Yeah, there it is. In 1999, Bill Wilson was named one of Time magazine's 100 heroes and icons of the 20th century for what he did. I wouldn't be doing it justice by describing it any longer, so I'm just going to share the link with you all. Misty, are you still here? MJ, are you still here? Don't get it twisted, that shit is worth watching. That link I just put. I couldn't take my eyes off of it, and I was supposed to be sleeping. You know what I mean, man? By the way, Kat, I checked out your channel. Why don't you have any content on there? Whoops. Join this channel. Join the channel for perks. Ooh, I got 14 likes. Yeah, these streams are kind of blowing up. The stream from last night, apparently everybody's loving it. And the one before as well. I'm loving it. It feels good. Like your boy James Brown. I feel good being down. Anonymity, motherfucker. Oh, wait, what? Oh, wait, what? Well, no, what? No, I didn't mean to bust your anonymity. Well, whatever. You know, you have a YouTube channel. And let me read some of y'all's comments here. So basically, fellowship is an important part of the program of recovery. Do not isolate. It's what we want to do. The definition of courage is fearing something but moving forward anyway. That's the definition of courage. You don't have access to the No, don't get me wrong, the delay is fucking us up. Yeah, there's like a 7-second delay. Okay, all right, yeah, I understand, Kat. I enjoy our fellowship here. This is a type of fellowship. It doesn't compare to in person, number one, because what you mean? What you mean? I didn't say anything. Could you see it on my face? Hey, I'm happy, joyous, and free now. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm a complete person. My inferiority complex has been wiped by a power greater than myself that I choose to call God. I am a whole man, and I am all man, and I'm ready for a woman. And I ain't even chasing either. I just happen to know that it, you know. Oh, that Halib clickbait title. How do I get in? Oh, that's the third tier, Cat. That's not clickbait. That's just some outtakes of some videos I put for my third tier members. As a second tier member, you get early access to videos and shorts I post and badges, and you get to use the emojis. So click on the emoji section of the chat, and I threw up some custom emojis for second tier members. You get to use special emojis. It's more about supporting the channel. Yeah, you get special emojis, yo. Check it out. I want to see. I've never once seen it. Oh, you got it. Hey, Cat gets to use special emojis, y'all, and you guys are on tier 1. No one's a third tier yet. You're a second tier. Cat, you were my first second tier. The third tier I put Soberdelic support because what is it, $9? Your first second tier access to the videos. I may be able to send you, just let me get the digits and I'll text them to you. I'll text you the link. I'm just kidding. First things first, let's keep us some boundaries. But I'm sure there's a way. My email's in the chat. I think I can send, but no, that wouldn't be fair to any of the other tier members. So to the third tier shit. Had an interesting trip yesterday. If you remember me saying I'm going to take shrooms instead of drinking, felt good today at work. Yeah, that happens to me after mushrooms. By the way, Smitty, I did a video on Bill Wilson and his hallucinogenic experiences. I just found out watching that documentary, he spent about 5 years deep into sobriety from alcoholism after creating the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, which has served mankind 100 years after his conception of it. Anyway, he suffered from depression and anxiety, and before LSD was demonized by the government, for about 5 years he experimented with it. And this was, of course, after all the hard work was done and people began to worship him. Alcoholics around the world began to worship him, and he had to step down, and he said, his favorite saying was just, "I'm just another drunk trying to get by. I'm nothing special." But all the attention and adoration got to him, and he was in deep depression, but he did LSD. And I think, what's that other one called, back in the day? Kat, when you and I are at a dinner party here in a year or so, telling people how we met, I can be like, she was my first second tier member on my YouTube channel, because I'm a YouTuber now. I used to not like telling people that. Now I do, because it's not like I just like this. Helping, and AA taught me to help people. This would never occur to me. I used to say things like, show me a completely selfless human being and I'll show you a dead person. Because my thoughts, my genius thoughts that I lived by, thought that a completely selfless person would starve to death because he'd give all his food away. Which, but forever, what does everybody always say? The best way to receive is to give. If you want to keep it, give it away. Giving is better than receiving. That's been something that people have been telling me all my life. I either didn't believe them or didn't want to. I was too selfish to do it. I am so grateful that whatever happened to me this time has taught me to help others. It has saved me. It saves me from the bondage of self, which has been described as the disease of addiction and alcoholism is a disease of self. Wake up thinking about yourself. You go to bed thinking about yourself. Looking out for numero uno all the time with my own ideas. Willpower. You know how exhausting that gets? Just like clawing your way through fucking enemies and oh my God. In the book, the promises, and in the book it says, you will cease fighting everyone and everything. You will know peace. And I'm here to tell you that's true. And if you don't believe me, you can look at me. I know I'm night and day different because people tell me every day. Yeah, Smitty. You wake up instead of coming to. When you sober up and when you get truly emotionally sober, you wake up from a restful sleep instead of coming to from passing out. There was a guy in the rooms told a story. He was so drunk one night he missed his queen size bed. He missed his queen size bed, and he was on the floor. He was so drunk he just pulled the covers off the bed and came to the next morning on the floor with the covers and he missed his queen size bed. And that's the kind of shit that's just funny. I mean, there's laughter in the rooms. We are not a glum lot, is what they say. And I believe every word of it now. I'll never stop listening to people too. It's not just AA. Now I'm listening to my dad. Now I'm listening to people because I learned how to become open-minded. That shit's crazy, y'all. The value of being open-minded, the value of learning from other people. It's almost like winning the lottery, or just, you know, getting away with like a bank heist with like billions of dollars. If you just choose to accept someone's experience, strength, and hope and apply it, you're just instantly wealthy. Without going through their experience, you have their experience. It's indescribable. It's indescribable. So you guys are my second fellowship. And I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but first things first for this alcoholic, and I believe every alcoholic should be this way. First things first, AA. Listen to everything they say. And it's principles before personalities. Because you'll find still sick people in AA and weirdos and shit, but there's one commonality. You know when somebody has gotten it. You know when someone's worked the spiritual steps and experienced a spiritual awakening, because they are loving, compassionate, helpful, open-minded, honest, willing, and their personality remains, and they can be an asshole or a dickhead. Well, actually, not really. Not really. On the other side of the 12 steps, after you've had a spiritual awakening, you are not an asshole anymore. You're not a dickhead. You won't find people that have, Yeah, learn from my experience. That's one of the reasons I justified filming myself during my relapse, doing these streams during my relapse, is because I wanted a comparison. But if you look on my alcoholism story, one of my videos, look up Soberdelic James Alcoholism Recovery Story. The thumbnail has a picture of how skinny I was, and I can, it's night and day. I've had a paradigm shift in the way I see the world and act and treat other people and perceive the world. I've had a paradigm shift. And somebody patted me on the back today. 3 hours ago this happened. Patted me on the back and said, "It's a miracle. Look at you. You're a miracle." And I was like, yeah, I agree. It's a miracle. I have, you know what I mean? And I'm so grateful. So grateful. Wait, what? Phone number. Throw emails up. I threw my email up yesterday, and nobody weird from the internet has emailed me. I was just trying to get it to Kat. I ain't gonna front. I'm honest. My intentions, let them be known. Like I said, I'm ready. And I ain't ever been ready until the program of Alcoholics Anonymous taught me how to live. Straight up. Freedom, joy, and happiness. And the fellowship's part of it. You all are my fellows and fellettes, and I appreciate it. I have to wake up early to take Mikey to the vet to get his butthole worked on. Mikey's my dog, and he's got to get his anal glands expressed. And I know it's nasty, but don't forget to do that. If your dog is dragging their ass on the floor and licking their butthole, that means their anal glands are impacted. Anal glands are scent glands that dogs use to mark their territory and shit like that. But probably because of crooked dog food companies, bigger dogs' anal glands get impacted. That's why they are so bothered and dragging their ass on the floor and shit. They're uncomfortable. So I gotta wake up, take his ass literally to the vet, and I think it costs like $40. They stick their finger in there, and he is so he guards his butthole like with a passion. He even if you look like you're looking at his butthole, he'll get all fucking suspicious and shit because he's uncomfortable. I can't have my boy being uncomfortable. Gotta go get his butthole worked on tomorrow. When you assume shit, my best thinking used to think that means the dog's asshole is itchy and that's it. Little did I know that their fucking anal gland was impacted. Hey, I care about dogs, cat. Oh, are you a cat person, cat? You can tell me your real name over dinner. You don't have to put it on here. It's probably something sexy like Katrina. Well, people need to know about anal glands, Holly. I know it's unpleasant, you know, and that's how I kick game to the ladies. I lead with, did you know about anal glands? You know, it sets the mood. But seriously, if you have a dog, you gotta take care of these things. Oh, you're an animal person. I'm just an animal. Yeah, you gotta look out for your dog's butthole glands, you know what I mean? I can't be having them and clip their nails because not a lot of people know this, but a dog with manicured nails, they're in pain and start developing joint problems and messed up hip problems and stuff because their gait is messed up. So, well, thank you for saying that, Kat, and thank you all for being here, and helping you really does help me, and that's how it works, and I appreciate it. Your patronage, your memberships, your comments, your experience, your strength, your hope, your insights on anal glands. And if you are a recovering alcoholic, I highly recommend, I'll never tell you what to do, because alcoholics don't listen anyway, but I highly recommend and will continue to demonstrate how it has worked on my life, that you participate in the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous, including going to the meetings and finding the fellowship. I tell you this because you'll be glad you did. Words can't express my gratitude for the gift that I have received. Finally, there's some small statistical percentage of addicts that recover, and you have no idea. After a life of struggling, to finally get some peace. The obsession to drink is gone. I just got rid of my pot plants. The obsession to get altered is gone. That is unheard of in my life. It's nothing short of a miracle. And it's because of you guys and Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's how it works. Take my word for it. Skimbledy bims, skimbledy booms. I'm the soberest guy in the room. Except for you guys. I'm the only guy in this room. So. Except for Mikey Booms. Alright, y'all. For those of you who may be new and shy in the background, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I stream every night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, addiction recovery, and everything in between. Richard Bachman, aka Stephen King, says my pizza tastes buttery, kind of moist. All the talk about dogs' assholes. Y'all didn't know I had Stephen King, his pen name, Richard Bachman. He's actually Stephen King. Stephen King comes around every once in a while as Richard Bachman. Talk about buttery assholes and shit. All right, y'all. Here's a little thing to look forward to. I'll be streaming from my older sister's house in Schenectady, New York in a day or two. I will see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. from this desk. And then the next night, Thursday, with God's grace, I'll be up in New York with my family. And I just won't stop streaming because I love you all and I love to help. It's what keeps me sane and sober. But until then, keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing the damn thing. Peace.